Hey guys, it's Hallie, your host of My Sister's Closet podcast. Okay, guys, so I would say yesterday, but I mean the last time that I was with you guys, we kind of got serious, as we do. That's what we do at my closet. And from one sister to another, I think that it's time to go a little bit deeper. And I want to talk to you guys more about my adoption story and how that shaped me. And You know, I can say all day that being different from being adopted, being different because I didn't look like my family, I can say that that didn't bother me, but it definitely had its moments, it's rough moments that you didn't really know quite how to handle things, or I didn't know quite how to handle things. And it was stressful. It could be very, very stressful. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to fix some stuff. It could be, what is that? For me, being other, I don't know anything different. I never have. I never will. Being separate from, that's how I grew up. Homeschooled, biracial, preacher's kid, adopted. I had a stutter. I didn't match my siblings. I was bossy, or as some people say, I was a leader without proper management. Um, that's just how I grew up. And yeah, I guess sometimes it did bother me, but not in a way that I felt like a victim, just in a way that, like, some people don't understand. People don't understand me. People don't understand where I'm coming from. They don't understand that when you try to put someone in a box, if you try to put someone in a square box, but they're a triangle, well, that's just not going to fit. That's just not going to work. And people for years try to do that. That's how people are. You can't put people in one box because there are multiple boxes in multiple compartments. And it bothered me so badly that people had to label me. They had to put me in a box, all neat and tied up with the bow, because that's what made sense to them. And knowing that I was, you know, I was given up for adoption. I was given up for adoption. And then I was adopted. So I got the story of someone didn't want me to now someone chose me. And you can spin it all you want, but at the end of the day, that's also something that happened, right? You didn't get the picture perfect family. And now I definitely can't have the picture perfect family because it's not what the family looks like. That's not how people see us. That's not how, I mean, I guess that's kind of how I saw us, but that's not how people saw us. It's definitely not, I don't think, how my siblings saw ourselves. Um, so I will say, yeah, it was, it was different. You were other, and I am wearing shorts, guys. I am wearing shorts. Um, and also growing up in a biracial family, I'm going to tell you something that I haven't told everybody. You know, my mom, bless her heart, Southern version, not really, I'm just kidding, but really bless her, love her. But there were times when she would be like, "Oh, Hallie, and don't get offended. White people, God, he just didn't cook them long enough in the oven. And people who are black, you know, they got left in too long. They got burned. And you're perfect. You're the perfect little cookie. You were cooked just right." And that's what she would always say about my skin tone. Talk about ostracizing, right? It felt very like, Mom, what are you saying? Because she is white. So that's crazy. So being biracial, when you have siblings who are white, siblings who are black, well, they are black, but they're Haitian American, and then siblings who are biracial like you, but they are white passing. And being white passing, for those who don't know, is someone who is a person of color, but their skin tone is so light that they blend in with the other race, um, which is the white race, which is fine. They were passing as white. And so, I can only imagine what people were saying to them. But when I looked into the mirror, I just saw a mix. I wasn't one or the other. And it's so hard because you spend your time defending other races to other races. And it is mind numbing. Excuse me, guys. I gotta get a sip. It's mind numbing because really and truly, where was I supposed to be looking for guidance on how to fit in? Because, I'm growing up in a family that believed that you didn't need to fit in. You weren't called to fit in. And that's what we preached to each other. That's what I preached to myself. I wasn't called to fit in, you know? So I just accepted it. But on the grand scheme of things, you know, I don't know if I shared this in the last episode, but you have, you're going to your friend's house and they're all white. It's great. And, you don't think anything of it. And it's a spend the night party. And the girls, you're young, you're a kid, you're excited, spend the night party, away from the parents, away from the siblings. And one of the first things someone says, because they just saw your mom and she's white, and they saw another brother, he's black, and you, and you are not them. You don't look like them. So you say you're adopted. And then what is the response of a 7 to 10-year-old? Oh, so you were found in the trash, right? Because I was adopted, they assumed that I was a dumpster baby. So that was fun. Really love that. And then especially because you don't match, it's like they have all these crazy ideas about where you could have come from. And I don't know, people would always just refer to me or my family as like, that's not your real family. That's not your real parents. Those are your adoptive parents. What about your real parents? And it was extremely disorienting as a child to be like always having to say, those are my parents, those are my siblings. And they're like, but not really. And you're like, yes, really. Because that's all I knew. But it was extremely hard always having to defend my existence, always having to defend my right to just be. And yeah, you know, you have to adapt. You learn to fit in with any of the sides. So today we're with the white people. Yay. Da da da. Gotta say what you need to say. And then later, you're going to be hanging out with people who are black. So you got to fit in there. I felt like I was a chameleon sometimes, just going from place to place. And some people say that that's a great thing. And it is. It's great to be able to make friends and branch out. But I had to. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't just be me sometimes. I had to put myself, okay, so like that whole thing again, when you're looking at the shapes and you're trying to squish something in that doesn't fit, you're trying to put the triangle into the square or the circle into the star and they don't fit. I didn't fit. I didn't fit in church on the praise team because, you know, they were all white. I was the only person who was of color and I was just mixed. And they were all from up north-ish area, I guess. And they wanted to tell jokes. They got jokes. They're funny. but somehow they're all racial jokes that if I wasn't saying something were offending me or insulting people who look like my siblings. So I always had to speak up. And do you know what speaking up does as a, you know, preteen, as a teenager? You're even more likely not to fit in. You're ostracized. Better yet, they isolate you because can't tell the jokes when Hallie's in here. Can't tell that one, can't say that because Hallie's here. She's going to get offended. To the point where they would ask me to leave. Yeah, you heard me. My bandmates, my church mates, my church members, people, my peers would ask me to leave the room so they could tell a racist joke because they didn't want to hear me. And this was happening around other adults. It was very disappointing because I was raised that being a Christian meant accepting and turning the other cheek. So you know what I did? I stayed. I stayed in the church group. I stayed going to church there, and so did my siblings. We stayed. And when my dad got a job and we went to another church, and it turned out that when I went on mission trip, where I went to a Latin American country, and it was fantastic because I looked like everyone else. And I knew some Spanish at the time. Don't ask me now. But I knew some Spanish at the time. And that meant I was going to lead worship. I was so happy. I was so excited that I found a place that I fit in. Oh, and I don't even get teary-eyed, but just thinking about it. Little me, high school me, or just getting out of high school, I was so excited. I found places that looked like me, and I wanted to learn Spanish so I could fit in. And because I just wanted to fit in a little bit, and I was practicing my Spanish, singing a song, and I got slapped when I was on a mission trip with the people at that church. Because I was finally getting attention that they weren't getting from other people. That was crazy. Not fitting in, you know, it can do something to like your mental. And not in like a way that like I always struggled. That's not why I struggled when I was younger mentally. And now too, all the time. But I remember wanting to learn Spanish so that when people who spoke Spanish would look at me, they would not judge me for not speaking their language. Because that's what they thought I was too. Even more instances of me getting put into a box because I just didn't fit. And there's something beautiful about that, being able to hop on over to one group or the other. But there's also something very lonely about that too. Even with my siblings. Oh, this is embarrassing. But I had more that I wanted to talk about. But, you know, even in my family, I didn't fit. And I love my family. I'm so grateful for them. But, yeah, I think maybe I didn't quite fit in there either. Um, ooh, however, gross. They loved me. And no matter what I chose to do, no matter what I chose to pursue or try, they were 100% supportive. And my sisters have never abandoned me and never let our differences and our otherness from each other separate us because, like I said before, that's not what binds us. That's not what bonds us. sisterhood, you know? And being other just showed you that everyone else is different too. Being other just showed me that other people are different too, and they have a little bit other as well. Everyone puts on a mask when they leave the house, when they step out of their car or of their room. Everyone puts on a mask. I just couldn't hide mine, or I couldn't hide that I wore mine sometimes. Everyone attempts to, I guess, put on a mask, I should say. Everyone tries to hide the fact that they're different. Mine is just very clear because of the color of my skin. So I am grateful for that because now I can say I have never been able to be anything but myself. Because in all my efforts to fit in, I still stood for what I believed in. I still stood for what I thought was right. And I always, always, always believe that that will get you where you need to be. And I always did that. And that is one thing that I learned from all of my siblings. Do not change yourself to fit in. It's not worth it because that's not who you are. It's not who you're meant to be. So here's your daily reminder. Fitting in is for losers. Let's, forget about the mob mentality and the social circles. There's so much more. We get one life. Who wants to fit in? Not me. So, anyway, come back for more at my sister's closet.